Hi there. Whew. It is November 1st. It has been a while, and I am really sorry about that. I'm sure many of you know a little bit about what's going on, but I'm coming here to give you the whole story. Things are really looking up. That's the bulletin is on a great path. Long and time-consuming path. But again, I might have just said I'm a little disoriented from time to time nowadays, just consumed with medical stuff. But the whole story, so here's I think I can get through the whole story in like 5 minutes and let you know what happened. It was about 3 weeks ago. I think it was exactly 3 weeks ago. It was Friday, the 11th of October. Yeah. Woke up, had a fever. I thought, oh, I might be getting the flu. I can't have the flu. Really important thing going on in the family. I had to be in Napa the next day. 2-hour drive. Oh, and I wish the best to everybody up there because the fires are still happening here in California, and they're getting a little bit under control. But we have had the next of the worst falls ever here with just people being displaced, wineries being burnt down. Anyway, so I had to get to this cool family event, and I remember thinking that I wasn't going to miss this. This unfortunately was like a life or death decision, and I may have made the wrong one, but we'll see. I realized my knee was killing me. I had this fever, got to 103 Friday afternoon, and I just, I thought, that's weird that I'd be getting the flu. I haven't had the flu in like 25 years. And so I figured I needed antibiotics. Luckily, I had some that I was supposed to take for dental work. And so I took some at midnight and at 5 in the morning. And because I figured I got to get there. I'm not going to the emergency room because I'll miss the event. I'll tell you more about that another time because it really was spectacular. But this is the horror story. So I called a friend of mine, good friend of mine, Doc, and he prescribed me some heavier duty antibiotics, and I made it to the family thing. We came home that night, and I couldn't even walk. I could put zero. We had to buy crutches when we bought when Nani picked up the prescriptions. She picked up a pair of crutches because I couldn't put any weight on my left leg, and so we went up there, had a fabulous time. Included some hula dancing and just a great dinner. Then hanging out with 25 of the closest friends and family we have on one side of the family. And that Sunday morning, I thought, oh, this is better. I could get around on one crutch now. It hurt a whole lot less. That was really encouraging. But my friend Dr. Cahill said, hey, you still got to call your knee guy. Make sure he knows that you got a problem with the knee. So I leave a message for Dr. Miller, and they get back to me and say, well, Miller does surgeries all day Monday and Tuesday. The earliest we could see is Wednesday. Be here Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. I said, okay, I'm there. So I go in to see Miller, and I'm saying, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. And, I got some antibiotics already in here. And he goes, oh, I wish you hadn't done that. I said, how come? He says, we're going to have a harder time identifying what's in there because of the battle already going on. And so, but he drained some stuff. He drained this is going to get kind of gross, but 2 vials that were like the size of toilet paper rolls full of stuff out of my knee. And boy, then it felt a lot better too. And of course with this horse needle, it's the size of like a knitting needles. And he says, this is definitely infected. When did you eat last? I'm not liking where this is going. I said, 6 o'clock this morning. I had an English muffin. And then I was going to eat like right after this. He says, go home, take care of whatever you need to do. You're going to be in the hospital for a few days. We're operating today at 5 o'clock. Be at the hospital at 3. Okay. So had kind of emergency knee surgery for a turns out it was a staph infection of some sort. They couldn't pin down the exact strain. I was there for a couple of days. They sent me home, and what he told me then, and this is where we're in the middle of now, is that you're going to go home in a couple of days, Friday or Saturday, and this was again a Wednesday, and then you're going to be on home IV treatments twice a day for 6 weeks. Each treatment takes 2 hours. That's what we're doing now. 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. They have to be pretty much 12 hours apart. I'm hooked up. I have what's called a PICC line. I'm not going to show it to you, but there's a little thing in here that goes all the way. They fed this line down to about here. And that's it. So it's like a direct line to the heart. For those that believe I might have one. No, sorry. Anyway. So thanks to my wonderful wife and daughter Lizzie, Nani and Liz, hook me up every morning around 7 and disconnect me at 9. I think I can figure out how to do it myself. I need some extra little parts, but it's and then also have got a therapist coming in to work on range of motion things. That takes a couple hours. Well, that's over now. The last visit was today. But between 4 hours of medicines and other things, I have not been playing the guitar much. I did manage to give some lessons this week. Got in most of, little wet right there. So it's not too bad. I can get. I'm up and around way more than I was 2.5 years ago when I had the first knee infection or the knee surgeries, and there really seems to be no why or where to it, as far as it could have been just a tiny little scratch that got some bacteria in it, and it found its way to a place where there's no blood flow, the metal parts in the knee. So anyway, that's I guess that's the 5-minute story. How did I do on that? Pretty close, I think. Maybe not, but man, I just picked up the guitar now for the first time, other than with a student, for the last 2 weeks, and it's fun, man. So try something impossible, right? Another one I gotta get to a lesson on, I've never done this. I should. But let's see if I can play that hot lick. Okay, well, it's coming back. So I hope to be getting back on lessons over the next week or so. I had so many on the drawing board. Did I talk about this a few weeks ago? My mind. Where I wanted people to start working on just that rhythm thing right there. If you want to get started on Whitebird, here is the thing. Play a C chord, grab the 5th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string, and then get a click in there on beat 2. And then get the chord back, just the 2 notes. You can get 3, it doesn't really matter. On the and of 2, and the next bass note on 3, then another click on 4. And we're trying to get the clicks on 2 and 4. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Then also work on this kind of thing. 1 and, I'm hitting my thumb on the 5th string, my index finger on the 4th string, and then a very light little down-up strum with the down being on the middle strings. I really don't want to hear any high notes here. A down with my 2nd and 3rd fingers, and then a small little up again. So actually what I'm doing there is each time my index finger plays, it's only playing one note. The first time it's playing the G, one and slight strum, and then the next time it's playing the C. Because as I play through the melody to Whitebird, I'm very likely to use my first finger for many of the melody notes so that they have the exact same tone. A lot of times, because of nail problems, I get different sound out of my index finger and my middle finger, and I want that melody to be. See, that's not the same. Different sound. There's my index. There's my middle. Well, probably can't tell the difference here between the audio that we're getting out of all this stuff, but funny how some certain songs just pop into your head when, for no particular reason. I guess I played. Oh, that must have come from Man's Fate. Oh, by the way, so a quick rundown of all the stuff I played, in case I forget to write any of this down. The opening stuff I was messing around. That was kind of improvising, just in the key of A, using a lot of major 7 chords. A major 7, D major 7, C sharp minor 7. F sharp minor 7, B minor, little chromatic bass descent getting into my E9. I played as a 7 flat 9 at one point and 7 sharp 9, which would be more useful, more appropriate in the key of A minor rather than A major. Okay, then this was Man's Fate, Hot Tuna, and shucks, what did I just play? I'd love to change the world. Hey, I want to send out some regards to our dear TG friend Lynn, who is traveling in Australia right now, and even got a chance to hang out with a longtime TG member and friend of the whole crew, Michelle, in Sydney, and that happens to be where my partner Matt is right now, and he and I have been trying to connect for a couple of weeks. It's been tough with the time, time change. We're changing times this weekend. Who cares? In California, we're trying to abolish, what is it? They're trying to go daylight savings time year round, which is not legal federally. Anyway, who cares? I like the time change. I like, when it gets darker in the morning and lighter later in the afternoon and versa versa and all that stuff. So anyway, okay, I think that is it. I should probably be back on the ice and the meds, and I will at least try to stay more in touch with what's going on at TG and try to get some other. I had a whole list of really cool lessons that were all in various stages of development. When Dr. Miller says, "When did you eat last?" Not a good question. Oh, of course, the significance of that, in case somebody doesn't know, is they can't do surgery unless you haven't eaten for at least 8 hours or something. So if I had just popped something in right then, he would have delayed it till maybe later that evening. But as it was, he threw together an emergency crew of 10 or 12 people that all went back to work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when they're probably usually heading home. So I do have to thank, first of all, my good buddy, Dr. Peter Cahill, who got me started on this path, and who I was visiting, by the way, in New Hampshire a little while ago, working on camp ideas. I have a lot of interesting camp ideas that I'll get to. Oh man, I didn't even give you the rundown of camp, huh? That fell off the radar. Well, maybe another time. Anyway, and then Dr. Matthew Miller is the really the genius behind and the pulling all the strings in this thing and making and getting me back on tap. I'm trying to play two songs at the same time. Dumb. Stay with one. Okay, that was one of mine. Quicksand. So, that is it. I hope things get a little closer to back to normal next week, but I will plan on being back at least next Friday with an update. And we maybe have, we did have a few new lessons released over these weeks, but all that stuff kind of got sent to a side burner as well. But that's it. Hello, goodbye to our friends in Australia, Matt, Michelle, Lynn, and Steve. And everybody else all around the world, Vanessa and our friends in the Netherlands, Karina, who else have I missed? All of our IGC campers that were there, Mark, and Tom was last year, but anyway, okay, let's shut the mind down. I'll see you next week.